Some of these famiclones are pretty damn ambitious with some of the stuff they try to pull off and give quite a few nice accessories to try and sell the things. So let's see all the goodies that come with the Virtual Station Interactive. So this is the free bonus Virtual Station Interactive. I wonder where they got some of that name from. Yeah, real mystery. So first we got this 3D abomination possibly breaking his hand to toss up a ping pong ball. I guess these really crappy 3D models are the Virtual Station's mascots? They probably also thought if they put these half-ass 3D models on here that people might be fooled into thinking this system actually produces graphics that amazing. Want to play? Yeah, sure, just not with you. Glad this guy's only thinking that too. Wouldn't want to say that out loud. Cool Finnish gamepads and gun. Does that mean they came from Finland, or you guys did us the super favor of finishing them? Cause, you know, being complete is kind of the bare minimum I expect of a gamepad. Coming soon to Virtual Station, controllers with all directions on the D-pad. Ever wish you could move left? Well, now you can with Finnish gamepads. Includes accessories to play your favorite video games. Wow, how did they know that the special games that came with Virtual Station Interactive were my favorite? That interactive soccer strap and interactive boxing strap look kinda similar, huh? Oh yes, I can finally have the dream match! Floating untextured piece of crap versus blurry boxer! And I guess you play soccer with your hands now. Gee, I thought that was the other football. Don't forget, guys, it's interactive! That's good, because if games weren't interactive, I don't know if I'd consider them games. Wow, I wonder if this really shoots ping pong balls out of the TV at me. I sure hope not, because that'd be annoying. High definition graphics and sound quality. Wow, high definition mono sound. Woohoo! But at least they weren't lying about the high definition 8-bit graphics, because you always get high def from a composite cable. With Virtual Station, you can now play interactive games without the need of cables. Except for these cables, you need to hook it up. And also that, invisible cable for the wireless controller. But at least I don't need the cable for the dance pad. Except for that cable to hook it to the system. The zapper that comes with the Virtual Station looks pretty neat, and it's cableless. Okay, in fairness, the soccer boxing strap and ping pong paddle are wireless. I did say they were ambitious, right? And get a load of this. Virtual Station even has Virtual Station Interactive branded AAA batteries in the ping pong paddle. Nintendo doesn't even have their own branded batteries in their products. Guess Virtual Station wins this round. What's strange though is even though this thing uses batteries, it has no on and off switch on it. Now the strap for the soccer boxing does, but it doesn't get any fancy pants Virtual Station brand AAA batteries as it's just powered with a single cell battery. But it's much nicer to have the ability to turn something on and off. Now, how they actually got these motion control accessories to work with games for the Famicom was actually kinda clever. Both the soccer, boxing, and ping pong carts actually have a sensor located near the top of them. So to work their little motion control magic, all you have to do is be waving the sensor on the strap or the ping pong paddle in front of the sensor on the cartridge. And is that Pixely not George Foreman? Oh, look, the console's finished too. See? Look, get it? Now, of the famiclone systems I currently have, the Virtual Station is actually my favorite, and one of the big reasons for that is its NTSC. So, obviously, the Virtual Station Interactive steals its model off of a PS1. There are also quite a few other versions of the Virtual Station with different colors. But as you might be able to tell, I like orange, so I'm glad I got the color I did. The soccer, boxing, and ping pong carts also both have a company logo on them for Game-Inus. Game-Inus' logo actually pops up within these two games as well, but just the two motion control ones. It seems Game-Inus is actually responsible for the Virtual Station as well, as it's listed on their website. Yes, they are still going. I don't know if they just kept their name off of certain releases like mine for some reason, or if it was because it contained elements not created by them like the dance mat and the multi-cart. They've also created what looks to be the exact same famiclone but called the Power Station. And the Game Station, which again is the same damn thing and has a couple versions to it. One clearly marketed towards idiot parents who will be duped by anything with the word edutainment on it. Then there's a Game Station 2, which amazingly rips off a PS2, which they have an absolutely atrocious picture of on their website. And this system is more than a different shell, as apparently it's a 16-bit system. They are also responsible for yet another famiclone marketed towards idiot parents, this time though standing like a computer tower and coming with a keyboard and mouse. This version apparently has some amazing built-in stuff like Solitaire and Minesweeper. Game-Inus also made a few third-party memory cards and a steering wheel for PlayStation. Do you get the feeling they really liked PlayStation? They at least got away from Sony with one of their releases, being a rather strange one for a company named Game-Inus, a karaoke machine. You know, that's kinda like a game, but not really. The system itself is obviously not the only thing that borrowed from PlayStation, as you get a couple gamepads modeled after non-analog PlayStation controllers. I don't have a non-analog one, just imagine it. Or here's a picture of one. Why didn't I just do that first? These gamepads even copied R1, L1, and L2, R2. Now, of course, like with most Famicom controllers, it's just more copies of A and B with turbo options, but it's neat that they bothered. These controllers are alright. They're probably my second favorite Famiclone controllers I have, but the D-pad's a little weird. Which is why I'm glad most Famiclones use that Sega Genesis Atari 2600 style port, and you can plug in controllers for other Famiclones. So I usually use my Pegasus Super Nintendo ripoff controller with the Virtual Station. Now, as mentioned, the Virtual Station also comes with a DDR ripoff cartridge. The Dance Mat looks like, well, a lot of third-party DDR pads. And Dance Station certainly sounds like a name one of them would have. In fact, one of them did, for Dreamcast. Though this mat's clearly still based off a PlayStation one, with it still even having square, triangle, X, and circle, all of which do nothing in the actual game. You only use the arrows and start and select. The last cart the Virtual Station came with is actually a multi-cart, and this is the first multi-cart I've had that actually listed itself as a multi-game cartridge. And I can tell you right now, one of these on the list is not covered. Wanna guess? It's educational. The multi-cart is a decent one, being a 64-in-1 with a lot of the usual suspects for these multi-carts on the game list. Carts like these were the reason I didn't even realize that Twin Bee and Dig Dug didn't actually get released over here originally. They were also why I remembered the seals showing up in Ice Climbers more than the Fry Guys. The only game that seems odd to be missing from this list is Mario 1. I guess they switched that up this time with Castlevania. Alright, so while the zapper works, it kind of works a little strangely, which is why I'm over here at the ancient tube TV setup to show you guys. If you line your shot up properly with this zapper, you'll miss. In order to actually hit anything with it, you have to aim a little bit above it. So yeah, this makes the zapper pretty useless in the end. But now I'm gonna show you all that I'm the ping pong master. Holy crap! I'm really good at this! Yeah! Yeah! I love this ping pong game! Yeah! Why can't I lose? So if too much light hits the sensors on the cartridges, it'll think you're swinging all the time, and you need to have the cartridge somewhat close to the pedal or wristband, so basically the only way to play is to have someone else around, so they can sort of be shielding the sensor from getting too much of the surrounding light. But this does mean if you don't want to use the accessories, you can play these games by just swinging the cartridge in front of a light. Unsurprisingly, you can play either game with either motion control device, so if you want to backhand ping pong balls as well, you can do that. So besides the problem of having too much light in the room, there could also be the problem of having the ping pong paddle anywhere near while you're trying to play the other motion control game. With ping pong, you can get it so you actually feel like you're returning the ball properly. However, the computer, even on easy, seems so perfect I'd never even gotten a point against them once. The soccer boxing cart was the hardest to get running properly, with it just auto-selecting the first choices or playing glitchy. With boxing, there really isn't much to it. You just backhand your opponent to death. Yes, you can't actually throw punches, because then the sensor is blocked. I haven't found any way to throw different punches, and it seems random if your opponent will get hit or dodge. Speaking of which, there's only one fight, then you win! Which at least you can do, ping pong! Though I do love that the one opponent is clearly not the George Foreman-ish title guy. Maybe that's who you're playing as. Soccer! Sounds a little familiar. So it steals Hogan's Alley's tune for some reason, but it's probably the motion control game that feels the most like you're actually controlling what's going on, as the ball might kinda be going in the direction you backhanded it in. At least they didn't lie about how you play soccer on the box. The Dancing Mat cartridge is actually DDR for Famicom, which is kinda awesome, and believe me, it's PREFECT. I mean PERFECT, of course. That's really kind of impressive to misspell perfect 2 different ways in the same game. And there are actually 2 different ripoffs of DDR on this cartridge with a 12-song and 24-song mix. So that's pretty good, 36 songs. Well, until you realize that the 24 mix has all the tracks from the 12 mix. But okay, that's still 24 songs. Again, until you realize that it loops the same 12 songs over with different titles. So actual DDR songs like Butterfly become what they were drinking at the time. Boys cleverly became fellow, and Boom Boom Dollar clearly wasn't happening for these guys, so they're in a slump. And then there's my favorite dance to do, the changing of the dirty litter dance. This even contains a dance remix of My Heart Will Go On, which to my knowledge isn't even something that happened on a real DDR mix. Wow, this should be Titanic Bot's new theme, I think. The look of the 24 mix is vastly superior to that of the 12 mix, which also has the added problem of flipping where the up and down arrows positions should be. So this just feels wrong when you're used to DDR, but this is actually the most playable mix. The 24-song version is almost unplayable with the timing of the arrows at the top being off and the major problem of not being allowed to stand on an arrow with one foot while pressing another. In order to play past basic steps on DDR, this is the exact habit you need to get into. Perfect indeed. The system runs famiclones nicely and has decent controllers. However, the light gun's aim is off and the motion control games are rather finicky, though you can get them to work. It's also neat to have DDR for Famicom, though again there were some issues with it. 7. The system itself offers a nice famiclone experience, especially for those with NTSC TVs. It has eventually run every famiclone game put into it, though some carts have had some issues, like the ones that came with it. Since there's no standard with famiclone carts, some of them are a bit bigger than others and didn't quite fit the system. However, it was really easy to just wear the plastic down and push them through anyway. The motion control games don't offer a whole lot in terms of gameplay and don't really have any variation besides detecting emotion or just light or lack thereof. DDR works and even offered a dance mat, so that's pretty Prefect. I mean, besides where it was perfectly annoying. It also offered a multi-card of stolen games. 7. The weird part of this was, of course, having motion control games for the regular Famicom, which, while not mind-blowing in their execution, do work. Kinda. For that and DDR repeat 12 songs 3 times mix, it's 5. I did enjoy the lame 3D sphere idiots on the box and the pointless boasts about the system that don't really mean anything or relies. 6. I'm just gonna score this based on the system alone, as all the other things are kind of a bonus and it's my favorite Famiclone system I have right now. It runs all my stupid bootleg games perfect. I wore that one out. 10. And the bootleg zones overall is 9. It's a good Famiclone system and offers some pretty interesting accessories. I don't play soccer with my hands. I use a ping pong paddle.